Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode. I'm so excited to talk with you guys today about the current topic that I want to cover today is the basic DIY questions that every woman starting out has, but maybe is a little um, nervous or embarrassed to ask about. So I really just want to encourage you, if you ever feel intimidated by DIYs, you are not alone. I guarantee you, I have been there. We have all been there. And today, let's just cover some questions that you might be thinking and just don't want to ask. So the first one, what I'll start with is, where do I start with DIYs? It can feel so overwhelming, the amount of projects that you want to do in your house, what you see on Pinterest, what you see on Instagram. It can seem like everyone has this just figured out, and I don't even know where to start, so I'm not going to. So today I just want to give you some just encouragement and advice here. What I would say is to start small. So, whether that is painting a beaten up door that's been driving you nuts, or fixing up a side table that isn't like a necessity that you use every day, but it's been bugging you and you just want to spruce it up. And so, start with that project. What I did a while ago, which felt like an instant improvement, was updating the hardware in our upstairs bathroom. It just felt really dated. And like, well, the whole bathroom needs work, but that's a story for another day. But what I did was I just updated the knobs. I went to Home Depot and bought some like sterling silver knobs that matched the rest of the existing decor and just swapped them out. And I did it in like an hour. I just had to use a simple screwdriver. And by the time I was done, the bathroom looked noticeably better and I just felt so accomplished. So that's a great place to start. So basically, what you're getting from this is choose a low risk, low cost project that will give you a quick win and that will help you build confidence. Um, and you know what? I also want to encourage you is that when you feel overwhelmed, it just means that you care about the results of your project. You care about your home. You care about wanting it to look nice. So lean into that and start small and go from there and you build your confidence. For me personally, that's what I did. I started with improving this large IKEA mirror that we had. I, with my mother-in-law, sanded it and painted it and stained it and made it look great. I was like, oh, well, this felt great. And then from there, I went to painting my future daughter. Like when I was pregnant, I was painting her nursery and just kind of went up from there. So start small and go on from there. All right. The next thing that is a common point of overwhelm is what tools do I actually need to do basic DIYs? And I mean, there is a huge variety out there, and like you see the price tags and you feel overwhelmed. So I'll just give you an idea of what the basic tools that are handy to have. So, tape measure, a simple set of screwdrivers to start with. A level is super handy for making sure you're hanging up pictures straight and level. You can do a very basic classic level or pay a bit extra for a laser level, which I have not done yet, but I would like to. Um, I use painter's tape for everything, for mapping out where I want to put things on my wall, to obviously prepping for painting. I use it, my girls use it to hang up pictures, like their crafts in their room. So I always find it's handy to have some of that on hand. A utility knife for, I mean, just simple things like opening boxes or a simple cutting of things. It's just handy to have one of those on hand. A variety of paint rollers. I do like a large size and a smaller size, and brushes. And a stud finder is also really key, especially if you're planning a future wall. You want to make sure that you're going to be aware of where the studs are. And if you're hanging up like this big mirror that I just mentioned, you want to make sure you know where your studs are so your stuff won't fall down and wreck your drywall. So stud finder. So what that is, one, two, three, four, five, six, yeah, about 7 tools to start with. So you don't need a huge collection. You can build this over time. Um, what is also handy, but it has a bit of a higher price tag, is a cordless drill. We have one, I use it all the time. But maybe what I would recommend is if you're first starting out, just start with that simple set that I just gave you and then go from there. And your local hardware store or Home Depot is a great place to start. Um, yeah, so you don't need to start off with everything. And you'll find that as you're doing projects, you'll collect tools along the way. So don't feel overwhelmed by that. The next question um, that a lot of us beginners have is, how do I choose the right paint color? I think we could talk about this for a long time. Um, but what I would recommend is go to the dollar store and buy like Dollarama or whatever and buy, those foam boards that they have there for like $1, the white foam boards, and paint. Get a sample of the paint that like narrow it down to like your top three and paint the foam board and then try it in the room and see what it looks like in different lighting. So in the morning light, in the afternoon light, in the evening, with your lights on in the room, with lights off, and see what looks best. And you'll be surprised at how different a paint color can look if the lighting is different. So and take your time. Just sit with it for a couple of days. And then you want to, yeah, compare undertones, whether it's a pink undertone or a green undertone, or um, just really just settle in with it and don't. I have done it before. When I skipped this process and it did work out. It was um, I chose recently a pink and a purple for my girls' bedroom, and I got lucky and it worked out, but I would not recommend doing it that way when it's come to doing our upstairs and like our playroom and our basement that I've renovated. I definitely tried to take my time and kind of figure out through this trial and error of what color would work best. And at the end of the day, if you paint it and you really hate it, you can always paint it again, which is not what you want to hear. But I mean, it does happen. But if you take this of painting the foam boards and testing in your room, I think you'll find a color that you like. And you might be surprised; it might be different than the one that you originally set out as your favorite. And also, Pinterest is a great like inspiration and design tool, but it doesn't have your exact home lighting. So don't take a Pinterest picture as like that's exactly how it's going to look in your house. So just it's really important to test it in your space. A question I get asked often is, what do beginners get wrong? I am guilty of getting things wrong. I will be going into that on future episodes, but oh, what beginners get wrong. Well, speaking from past experience, preparation is everything. I have definitely learned through trial and error when like trying to smooth out walls. Like we in our first home in our townhouse, we took off the mantle of the fireplace and made it like flush with the wall, kind of gave it a more modern look. And I had to smooth out the wall. And I remember my dad, he's really good at woodworking and home renos, and he's like, you got to take your time. And I was like, ugh. And I tried to skip ahead, and I went too quickly with my sanding and filling, and I painted, and it didn't look great, and I had to really sand it down again. So preparation is key, and it is honestly, it is. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little tedious at times. It sucks, actually, the prep days. But it's really worth it, and it really sets you up for success in painting and like drywall repair and that sort of thing. So prep is everything. So you got to clean the space, you got to properly sand, properly fill holes. You got to measure, and I recommend measuring twice, making sure you got your measurements right if you're installing shelves or whatnot. Just don't rush the preparation phase. And I kind of a good like gut reaction, I guess, is if you want to skip that part, it probably means it's important because that tedious work, it's the stuff that you're like, oh, I wish it was just done, but it is a crucial step. So really just lean into it, choose a good podcast. When I was decorating or really renovating our basement, I listened to, do you know, A Court of Thorn and Roses? the fantasy book series. I listened to like that whole thing as I was like painting the basement, and really kept my mind occupied while I was doing like all that painting. So find a good audiobook, find a good podcast, and yeah, just lean into it. Okay. And those of us with kids, I think you can relate to this question. How do I DIY with a chaotic household? Oh, that that's a doozy. Um, what I would say is try to contain the mess to one zone of your house. Don't try to, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? Like, don't try to renovate your whole house at once. If you're doing your basement bathroom, keep the upstairs bathroom clean. Keep a like a DIY basket, like, of your tools. Keep it contained so you can easily take it, clean it up, and put it away. Um, with kids and just life, work, you're going to work in micro, small steps. It's going to take a bit longer than someone who is doing it as a professional contractor. It's going to take longer than someone maybe who doesn't have kids. But it will get done. It's progress that counts. And I would really, when you're timing out your projects, give yourself a lot of grace. And maybe what would typically take 1 day for prep, maybe you're going to need a day and a half, right? So just be kind to yourself. Um, and yeah, when we were going through our big renovations, if the basement was the one thing being renovated, I would try to keep some control in the upstairs and keep that organized, and just kind of clean as you go. And just accept that there's going to be a little bit of chaos, but it's going to be worth it because you're going to be loving your new space when it's all done. Um, okay, and now this is an important question: is when should I call a pro? Well, if you're not married to a plumber or electrician or whatnot, what I would say, if it's anything water related, electrical or structural, you're going to want to call a pro and make sure it's done right. Um, you don't want to mess around with that. What I feel is safe for beginners to do is, painting projects, feature walls, putting in shelving, caulking baseboards, caulking, you know, uh, trim around doors, doing your drywall fixes, that sort of thing. If it's anything water, electrical, structural, you're really going to want to make sure you have a pro that is going to take all that on. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. And yeah, do your research before projects, and then um, talk to me. I'm happy to help you. And yeah, it's definitely possible, but when you're starting out, I would stick with the painting, the feature walls, shelving, caulking, that sort of thing. How Next question, which is also another important one, is how do I avoid wasting money? Oh, that's a big one, especially if you're, working, you got kids. Money's important, and you need it to go farther, especially in this day and age. How do you avoid wasting money? Is you have to measure twice. You want to make sure, say if you're installing shiplap, you want to make sure that you're buying enough and you're not overbuying. Um, you want to, yeah, reuse what you can in your house. You want to grow your toolkit slowly. You don't want to buy everything right away. Just buy it as you need it, so it's not like a big cost up front. Make sure you're planning accordingly. Wait for sales. Home Depot, other places, they do have, paint sales, things like that, where you can take advantage of. Um, yeah, and just really make sure you have your plan, that you're measuring, that you're, yeah, budgeting. And the more you can do yourself, the more you'll save money, but it will also take a little bit more time. Okay. The next question I get a lot is, what projects give the biggest impact in the least amount of time? Well, that is pretty easy, I would say, is that paint. Paint, I mean, requires a bit of prep work, but you can really transform a space in a day. Painting is like the single, I think, easiest way to make a space feel different. And then I mentioned it earlier, updating hardware. And then, just even like a simple decor project can make your space feel different. Change out some throw pillows, add in a c- um, cozy blanket, change some paintings around, add some greenery. Greenery makes a huge difference. Actually, if you're interested in some easy decor swaps, is check out my website, sherrywalker.ca, and I actually have a free decor guide that has some simple swaps that you can, and it outlines how to do them. So check that out at sherrywalker.ca. Yeah, and then yeah, just do the simple things like updating hardware, simple decor swaps, paint a wall, and your space will feel instantly different. And then for bigger projects, a feature wall, adding in some like floating shelving can make a huge impact in a short amount of time as well. Yeah, so I hope that is a good start. I know we could talk about DIYs for a long time, especially all the questions, which I'm always happy to answer your questions. So send me a DM. I would love to hear from you and start a conversation. But I think like the just to kind of wrap up today is that DIY isn't about perfection. Um, it's about building confidence and a home you love. And in time, as your skills improve, you might go through and like update some projects that you first started with, but it is possible to create a home you love and build confidence at the same time. And yeah, and just like give yourself grace. I feel like if I took you on a tour through my house, I would point out a whole bunch of things that I still want to do, things that I didn't do that right. I could have done that better. But no one is as critical about projects as we are, as the ones who are doing them. People don't see the little imperfections that we see. So, um, progress beats perfection. And I really know that you have right now within you the abilities and the skills to be able to do it. And I am here to help you. In the new year, I'm going to be offering a workshop course, well, just a 1 hour workshop to teach you how to plan and execute a feature wall in your home in a weekend. So I'm excited to share that with you. And if you would be interested in the decor hacks, take a look at sherrywalker.ca. And I also have a feature wall checklist as well available on sherrywalker.ca. So feel free to go check those out. And I don't think you will regret it. It gives lots of good information at no cost. So yeah, it's been wonderful talking with you today. And I hope this gives you confidence and knowledge that, we've all been there. We've all had that overwhelm. We've all been beginners and we're here to learn together and figure this all out. So I hope you have a really good rest of your day, and I'd love to hear from you. So feel free to send me a DM or find me on Instagram at Sherry Walker _ DIY. All right. Until next time, from one DIY to another, have a great day. Bye.